Ever get that gut feeling that something major is coming? Like maybe, just maybe, luck's finally on our side. That's where we're at right now. We've ridden the roller coaster, the heartbreaks, the close calls, the what ifs, but this time hits different. There's a real shot sitting in front of us, a genuine chance to make a play that could finally turn this franchise around. And if it goes down, it won't just be another splashy headline during the off-season. It'll send a message. Let's dive in. First things first, hit that like button and tell me straight up. Do you want John Harbaugh coaching the Browns? Yes or no? The Cleveland Browns have officially thrown their hat in the ring for John Harbaugh, and folks are fired up about it. According to Diana Rossini's reporting, the Browns have contacted Harbaugh to set up an interview, putting themselves in the mix with other teams chasing one of the NFL's most accomplished and admired head coaches. After spending 18 years with the Baltimore Ravens, Harbaugh seems ready for something new, and Cleveland could be the perfect landing spot. Not just because of his impressive resume, but because of something more personal. Harbaugh has deep family connections to the Browns through his mom's side and has openly talked about being a Browns fan growing up. If there's a meaningful final chapter in his coaching story, this might be it. And honestly, it's exactly what Cleveland's been missing. The team's got a solid young roster with a top 5 defense and the league's best defensive player, Myles Garrett. Throw in 2025 Defensive Rookie of the Year, Carson Schwessinger, plus up-and-coming players like Harold Fannin Jr. and Judkins, and this isn't a tear-it-down-and-start-over situation. It's a fine-tuning opportunity. Harbaugh would step into a scenario where the defense isn't just solid, it's potentially dominant. On offense, sure, there's work to do, especially up front on the line, but the bones are there. Cleveland isn't some bottom-feeder franchise, no matter what the talking heads say. Harbaugh brings a winning mindset with him. We're talking about a guy who's led teams to multiple AFC championship games, grabbed AFC North titles, and, most importantly, hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. And he pulled that off with Joe Flacco, a quarterback plenty of people had questions about when it came to elite status, but nobody questions Harbaugh. Leadership and stability are precisely what Cleveland's been starving for. There's a stark difference between the chaos that's haunted this franchise lately and the rock-solid foundation Harbaugh would provide. That said, he's got some serious asks on the table. Word is Harbaugh wants $20 million a year, a $10 million budget for his coaching staff, complete roster control, and possibly the power to pick his own GM. That last part's especially interesting since the Browns currently have Andrew Berry running things. There's buzz that Berry might not survive if Harbaugh comes aboard, and that could either kill the deal or reshape the entire power structure. Apparently, this decision's landing on Jimmy Haslam's desk, and that's where things get really intense. If Harbaugh gets total control, we're probably looking at a major shakeup in leadership, except maybe for one crucial person, Jim Schwartz. Keeping Schwartz should be non-negotiable. He's turned Cleveland's defense into an elite unit, top 4 in total defense and top 3 against the pass in 2025. Even Harbaugh, who went head-to-head with Schwartz twice a year for several seasons, has to recognize what he's accomplished. Schwartz isn't just another coordinator you toss aside. He could be key to Harbaugh's transition, holding down the defensive side while Harbaugh overhauls the offense. Speaking of which, Harbaugh reportedly wants his own offensive coordinator, which might mean goodbye to Tommy Rees in Cleveland. While some inside the building see Rees as a rising offensive mind, he even caught the eye of college programs like Penn State and UNC. His results calling plays were pretty underwhelming. Rees took over midseason, and in his debut, the Browns dropped a game to the Jets with an offense that didn't look much different than it did under Kevin Stefanski's shadow. Harbaugh's got his sights set on Todd Monken, someone he's closely connected to and wasn't willing to lose in Baltimore. That situation actually contributed to his departure from the Ravens. Interestingly, the Browns are the only team publicly saying they'd interview Monken for their head coaching position. That's not just respect, that's strategy. It's chess, not checkers. By openly supporting Monken, the Browns are telling Harbaugh he can bring his guy along. That's how you play this game when you're serious about landing your top choice. This is shaping up to be a huge turning point for the Browns franchise. Ownership's shown they're willing to take big swings before. They did it with Deshaun Watson. For better or worse, that was a risky gamble that could blow up in their faces. But going after Harbaugh is different. This is a move every fan could rally behind. This brings instant respect. This is the kind of hire that could transform the Browns from a team with promise into a real threat. But it won't be cheap, and it won't come without tough choices. Are the Browns ready to move on from Andrew Berry? Would they reorganize the entire front office to make room for one coach's vision? The risks are real, but so are the rewards. Landing Harbaugh could rewrite this franchise's story for the next 10 years. So, Browns fans, what's your take? Would you be willing to say goodbye to Andrew Berry if it meant bringing John Harbaugh in to run this team? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's dig into Andrew Berry because that's where things get messy. There's no question Berry's done some solid work. His 2025 draft class looked promising, and there's reason to think he's improving. But zoom out and look at the whole picture, and it's obvious that building a complete roster hasn't always been his strength. The offensive line, still a glaring problem. Wide receiver depth, still thin. And these weren't surprise issues that came out of nowhere. They were obvious heading into the season. Yet Berry didn't tackle them in the draft or free agency the way a GM should when the team's close to competing. What makes Berry's situation even trickier is that he and Kevin Stefanski came in as a package deal. They got extensions together, they were joined at the hip. So when one's out, it's natural to wonder if the other should follow. And in this case, Stefanski's already gone. It's not a stretch to think Berry might be next, especially if John Harbaugh makes it a condition of taking the job. Remember, we're talking about a coach with a Super Bowl ring, playoff victories, and a reputation that carries serious weight league-wide. If he says he needs full control to accept the position, and that includes choosing his GM, can the Browns really say no? Let's be real here. This franchise hasn't exactly been the poster child for stability. If Harbaugh wants to bring his own vision, his own leadership team, and his own people to make it happen, how do you turn that down? Especially when the alternative is more of the same. Potential that never materializes, seasons that end in disappointment, and excuses about why things fell short. If Cleveland's serious about becoming a contender, they need to be serious about giving someone like Harbaugh the keys to the kingdom. There's also what Harbaugh's arrival would mean for the AFC North. Think about it. This guy knows the division better than anyone. He's schemed against Mike Tomlin and the Steelers for nearly 20 years. He's battled Cincinnati and won more often than not. He understands how to succeed in this brutal physical division. Bringing him in wouldn't just improve the Browns, it would shift the entire AFC North power dynamic. And for once, Cleveland wouldn't be playing catch-up. They'd be setting the pace. That's a vision worth chasing. That's a future fans could actually believe in. The Browns aren't far from competing. With the defense they've built and a few smart upgrades on offense, particularly on the line and at receiver, this team could be in the playoff conversation next season. Add a proven winner like Harbaugh to that mix, and you're looking at a legitimate playoff contender with serious upside. This isn't about bulldozing everything and starting fresh. It's about getting the most out of what you've already assembled. And there might not be a better coach available to do exactly that than John Harbaugh. But this goes beyond X's and O's. It's about culture. It's about belief. Harbaugh delivers both. His teams play with intensity, they're fundamentally sound, and they don't shoot themselves in the foot. When's the last time you could say that about a Browns team for an entire season? That kind of culture separates good teams from great ones, and that's what Cleveland needs more than anything right now. We also need to address what happens if they strike out on Harbaugh. If you're Jimmy Haslam and you reach out to a candidate of Harbaugh's caliber, you better be ready to seal the deal. Because if you don't, if he walks away and signs somewhere else, like Atlanta or New York, then what's your backup plan? There's no second choice that even comes close. This coaching market isn't loaded with proven winners. It's Harbaugh and then a steep drop-off. The last thing this organization can afford is to whiff on a game-changing hire and end up settling again. That's the danger. That's why the time to move is now. And don't sleep on the fact that Harbaugh reportedly refused to part ways with Todd Monken. That loyalty reveals something about how he builds his staff, how he trusts his people, and how he creates unity. If Monken's part of the deal, and it looks like Cleveland's positioning themselves to make that happen, that's a huge win. Monken knows how to run an explosive offense. He's proven it in college, he's proven it in the pros, and he clearly understands what Harbaugh's trying to accomplish. That kind of alignment could finally give the Browns the offensive consistency they've been missing for years. It's all sitting there, ready to grab. A legendary coach, a staff he trusts, a franchise ready to break through. The only question is whether ownership's willing to go all in. Are they ready to hand over the reins, cut ties with the old regime, and let Harbaugh rebuild this team from the ground up? If they are, the payoff could be massive. So Browns fans, this is on you. You've lived through the highs, the lows, and everything in between. You know what it's like to hope every offseason that this will finally be the year. Maybe, just maybe, this is the one move that actually changes everything. If you think it's time to swing for the fences and connect, then John Harbaugh's your guy. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch the next update because the Browns are making moves and the next few weeks could shape the next decade. Smash that like button if you think Harbaugh is the answer. Drop a comment below with your opinion and click the video on your screen right now for more breaking Browns news. Go Browns!